Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Brandon. Welcome to Audio Addiction Week Finalist album reviews. You can find our band interviews and you can find live coverage of the concerts that we get. I did another review today, which you can also check out, which is Polaris's newest record, The Death of Me. If you're interested in metalcore, which I feel like if you're watching this video, you'll like that too. So go check that out if you're interested. I'll also be hopefully getting around to review Reflection's newest record, as well as this awesome underground band called Seder. They all have released records today, so go give them some love if you can get the chance to. But tonight we're going to be talking about The Word Alive's newest record, Monomania. So I want to start this review off with a thank you from Adam Splitter. I've been getting a lot of awesome content from them, so thank you guys and keep up the good work. But I've been a fan of The Word Alive for a very long time. I've been a fan since the first record, but I would say that I really got into them after Deceiver, and I've been kind of an on-again, off-again fan. I loved Life Cycle's Real, and then kind of Dark Matter a little bit, and then with their last record I kind of passed on it a little bit, just because I had listened to the singles and I knew it wasn't my cup of tea. But I had listened to Monomania and that kind of gave me a little bit of a different opinion on it, so I wanted to go through all of the songs on this record. So that's what I'm going to do, go through some pros and cons and then finish it out with an overall rating. So obviously the title track of the record, Monomania, and the first single that they released, I really dug the incorporation of electronic elements. I've always felt like that's been a strong point of the band, and that they've always been able to utilize it super well, and I feel like a song like this does a really great job of it, just considering that I feel like instrumentally there isn't too much going on. So I do like the counterbalance of keeping it interesting with the electronics. But I have to say probably the biggest reason why I enjoyed this entire record was because of Telly. I mean, his vocals have sounded so good on not only this song but also on the entire record. He really just is on another level. Like, I don't know what he did since the last record, but I think vocally he's just amped it up to 10, and this one just feels like, especially considering kind of taking a break from them a little bit, and this is the first song that I had came back to listening to, I think he really absolutely nailed it. But I think in comparison to the instrumentals and how well Telly was doing, I just feel like it's a little bit lackluster. There isn't just really something that just hits me like they used to with some of the old stuff, and I know that there's gonna be people who be like, oh well, if you want to do that, like, they're totally different and all that stuff, and I respect that. That's not that I'm not trying to say that I don't appreciate it for what it is, but I think when you're going from something that's just super technical, where Zach was doing a lot of really great solo work, Tony had some really great riffs that he was working on, it just feels a little bit bland in comparison. And it's not a diss on them. If they want to go this direction, I appreciate it, and there was definitely some songs later on that I enjoyed that are playing into more of their newer sound. But I would say probably one of the more positive things that I enjoyed about this record, or this song in particular, was the chorus. I think it's an absolute high point of this song, and the breakdown was really solid. You know, despite it being instrumentally a little bit weak, I think this song is really well done, and I think obviously the biggest pro about any of these songs is definitely Telly's vocals. So we're gonna move into track number 2, which is No Way Out. This is another single that they had released, but this one was really well done vocally on Telly's part. I know I keep saying that, I'm gonna probably continue to mention it for the next God knows how long I'll be doing this review for, but he is just killing it. The way that he executes his voice, the way that he shows a lot of emotion, and I knew when he made a post about it how emotional it was coming with the lyrics, and it just feels like he's putting in that effort, he's putting in that work, and you can feel it in these tracks. Whether or not you're a fan of him, back then when he was doing Deceiver and all that stuff, or if you're a fan of him now and you've recently found out about him, I think regardless of where you come from, you know that Telly is putting his all into it, and that is just awesome. The chorus is really catchy in this track, and to me, this whole record feels like the vocals are servicing the instrumentals, but the instrumentals are not servicing the vocals. So it's just a matter of, I would love for the instrumentals to match what Telly is doing. Maybe not to the same level, but I think that it would really kind of create an awesome energy, and I think it would kind of, allow those people that are older fans to enjoy their stuff still, but also garner new fans with that kind of more catchier, more like pop influenced music. I feel like a lot of the metalcore and like post-hardcore obviously pull a lot from like pop, and just having these really great melodies that are memorable, and I love that. And I think a lot of these songs I'm just going to remember because of the melodies, but I think a lot of the reasons why I stay and why I'll come back to listen to records is that instrumental, like does it sound as good instrumentally as it does vocally. So never a diss. I always feel like music is an opinion, and everybody has an opinion about it. So I just feel like this is my thoughts on it. It's not necessarily all concrete. So I feel like you should go listen to it, give your thoughts on it, your concrete evidence on it, and how you feel about it, not just have somebody on the internet tell you how you should feel about a record. But we're going to move it into track number 3, which is Search for Glory. I believe this one is one of the most recent singles, and I will say I have listened to all of the singles just because I was curious, where it was going to be going, but I really enjoyed this one as well. Instrumentation wise is really well executed. I love the build up to the chorus. I think that was really solid. But I genuinely feel like Telly keeps getting better with each one of these songs. And, obviously, as I mentioned, I had listened to the singles, but I really didn't know what I was going to be expecting from it. And I just feel like Telly is just absolutely bringing it. And he's the standout in every one of these songs. Like, I mean, obviously some more than others, but generally he is just really ripping it as like the backbone of a lot of these songs. So we're gonna move into track number 4, which is Another Year in the Shadows. Again, insert another thing about me liking Telly and his vocal preferences, but beside the point of that, I do like how this one is a little bit heavier. I think that some of the stuff that I reminisce about this band is having those heavier elements, so it was nice to hear that. Obviously, I am familiar with more of their more current catalog, but this one just felt like a little bit more in the past, which was awesome. I love the electronics. I think they add a nice atmosphere to a lot of the songs off of this record. And I think who they went with, which was Eric Ron, I think he did a really great job of kind of, coercing Telly to do what he does best, and I think he did a really great job of that. But I also feel like he did a great job of kind of creating great atmospheres within a song. So we're going to move it into track number 5, which is Greatest Almost. Instrumentally, I think this one matches with the song. There's just these really great highs that are felt in the chorus, and then there's these really nice, softer, more melodic moments in the verses. Again, I'll insert thing about Telly, his vocals, why I love him, all that stuff. I feel like a broken record in that regard, but Telly, man, you just rip it. So I can't not talk about it because it's that good. But this one, really solid track nonetheless. Go give this one a listen if you're interested. So we're going to move into track number 6, which is Thank You. I do much like Another Year in the Shadows. I like that this one is a little bit more aggressive. I like that Telly is offering some more screams, because I've always liked his screams regardless of people who enjoy them or not. I think he just has this way of cutting through songs, and his tonality is awesome, and I think it matches with, again, the aggressive tonality that they're trying to bring out in a song like this. But I will say the one thing that surprised me every time that I listened to this song, it very much felt close to like a few different Bring Me the Horizon songs. I know it was probably not intentional, but it does feel very close. I would say within an nth degree, it sounds very close to a Bring Me the Horizon song. I just think generally I don't have one that actually is like more pinpointed to it, but it is close. It is very close. But overall, I think lyrically it's a little cheese, but I think vocally, I think, Telly brings it with that rage and that anger. So definitely like that in that regard. So go give that one a listen if you want a little bit more heavier spice in your life. So we're gonna move into track number 7, which is Numb Love Misery 2. This one is an absolute gem. Like I was kind of getting a little bit worried after listening through most of this record and kind of having a similar tone, a little similar vibes up until, like, again, the last track, Thank You. But this one is super solid instrumentation wise, but I think the thing that sold me the most at first was just kind of like the darker tonalities of this track. I think they really kind of add this underlying like dark vibes in it, and I think it just really works with this song in particular, being more about love and all that stuff and those things, and how you kind of feel after certain issues in that regard. So I really feel like the energy of that track was brought out super well, and I think instrumentally it's solid. And again, Telly is just ripping it up on a track like this. So we're going to move into track number 8, which is KF. This one is definitely leaning more towards their electronic roots, which is something I enjoy, and I like that they're bringing it out. I also really dig the instrumentation of the song. I think as the record has progressed, I feel like, it's not as much like, very baseline kind of stuff. I really feel like they're experimenting a little bit more, which is always nice. But I also feel like this one brings the great energy that I've been missing, but also kind of bringing different elements into a song. Again, I'm not going to say it, but you know what I mean about vocally how well it went. So we're gonna move into track number 9, which is Burning Your World Down. This is the first single that they released a while ago, and I know that they've been playing it live. I know I've definitely seen it live, but this one I felt like instrumentally was the most expressive so far. I would say maybe excluding like Numb Love and maybe KF, but other than that, I feel like this one has the most vibes to it, which is definitely great, and I think it matches with Telly's powerful vocals. But I also will say about this track is that early on when I had listened to this single, I wasn't really a fan of this song. It wasn't something that got me. I think it was because I was kind of fresh off of like re-listening to like older Word Alive stuff, and maybe it was also like Dark Matter that I threw in there. But it was just something, I don't know, it was a song that I didn't like, but I will say I do love this song a lot now, and I think it also just fits so much better in the confines of the record. I just feel like as a single itself and just holding it at that place, it just doesn't feel right, and it really works with the kind of arrangement of the entire record. And is one that, again, is already out, and you can go check out along with all of the other songs since the album is out now. So we're going to move into track number 10, which is Comfort and Chaos. And this one absolutely surprised me, and I really enjoyed this song a lot. Like, honestly, I know that I've been talking a little bit of shit about this record, but this one was really took me by surprise. It's super like more melodic, it's more soft, but just the emotional value of this song just really cuts with me, and and any kind of preconceived notion that I had about them going soft, I would not hate it if they went this direction. I think that they really kind of, the instrumentation that they got going on, along with like kind of Telly's more emotional approach to these songs, I think it's just a match made in heaven. I think that they really did a great job performing this. I think this is the best song off the record, and it's going to be one that I feel like a lot of people are going to sleep on because it's just so soft, it's more melodic. But I think when you go back and you listen to it, and as many times that I've listened to it, this one never gets old to me, and so there are a lot of the songs off of this record that I can say that with absolute conviction, but this one I can listen to so much, and I think it's just the way that they did it it. I think it's the way that Telly delivers his vocals, and his range is incredible too as well. I think he really utilized all of it. It's, they have some higher moments where he's singing in his higher register, but there's also some moments where you have that emotional vibes and feelings about the song, but it is translated into, a really well executed song instrumentally and vocally. So we're gonna move into track number 11, which is I'm Sorry, You're Sorry Now. This one is actually, I feel like this is the direction I was imagining them to go to. Like I said, I had taken a little bit of a Word Alive hiatus, but this one was really well executed. I'd be totally down if they, again, continued this direction. I think 10 and 11 are the best tracks off the record, personally. Those were the ones that stuck with me the most, and I think they have the best hooks. They have the best, I think Telly sounds really excellent on both of those songs, and I think the instrumentation matches what you're hoping they kind of achieve, and hopefully what they kind of are pulling out from their musical backlog, because they really do a great job. And I think there's some really great dynamic between the instrumentals and the vocals, and it just feels in sync. These were two songs that I think were very much gems, along with Numb Love, I feel like, to me, and ones that were standout to me immediately. So go give this one a listen. If you're into kind of more softer post-hardcore stuff, this is a vibe. So go give this one a listen. So we're gonna move it into track number 12, which is Death Is Only the End If You Assume the Story Is About You. I'm glad I said that right, because I felt like I was gonna screw that up. But anyway, getting back to this track, I love the intro. It's very tight. I love the vocal layerings. The arrangement of it, I think, is massive, and I think it really creates that like wall of sound sort of feel to it. I also love that the verses are more bass forwarded. I think they really switched it up, and it's a nice change, because a lot of the stuff felt very generic, very in line with either what Monomania sounds like, or there's some degradation, but I think mostly the backbones of a lot of the songs kind of feel that vibe. But this one was excellent. I think that they really did a great job of ending the record with a really strong, powerful song. I think Telly's got some great screams in this track. I think he's got some great vocals, and there's just this emotional delivery that is uncomparable to other vocalists out there now. Like, I really feel like he puts a lot of effort into his singing, and I even more so than I think previous records. This one, he feels the most emotional without like obviously crying, and I don't know if he did or not, but like it almost feels that way in certain songs, and this one was one that honestly took me by surprise, and I really feel like they stepped it up in every way. I would love if they kind of continued along the lines with like the last three songs that I've mentioned. If they kind of even go more like, even if they go more softer and Telly really kind of belts it out, like I would be really about it. I think their musical like change or epiphany is very reminiscent to me of what Dayseeker does. Like Dayseeker with their last record, they were a little bit more heavier, and then a lot of their stuff with Sleep Talk was more like pop, or it had definitely more of a hook vibe to it. And I think when bands do that, they can either do it super well or they could do it really poorly. And I think this one's kind of a mixed bag. I think Dayseeker, unfortunately, in this instance at least, did a better job. But I really feel like this is a great kind of closer song. I think it's a great send off to the record, but I do feel like there is a little bit of disheartened feelings for me about like the record entirely. So some pros and cons that I have about it. I think some of the biggest cons that I have, as I mentioned, it's a little bit slower. I think it's a little bit bland in certain places, and it almost feels borderline generic at certain points. And that's not to hate on them. I think that, there's a lot of bands that kind of fall into that category now when, they're kind of transitioning sound. So, I mean, I will honestly give their next record the benefit of the doubt. But I think there's just really the one big thing that holds this band together, to me at least. And I know I mentioned it a lot, but it's my biggest pro about this record, and I think it's Telly. I think he really he is the glue that holds this band together, because a lot of these songs, if they had any other vocalist in that spot, I think it would have just felt bland. And I think that Telly, regardless of whether or not I agree with where they're going musically, I think I can always be down to know what Telly does in the vocal box, because he puts his all, and you could tell even more so than I think in previous records how important this record was to him. So I gotta give him that credit of that. And I didn't want to just feel like I was shitting on this record, because I think there's gonna be a lot of people that enjoy this, honestly. And there's plenty of songs off this record that I really enjoyed, but I just feel like, just being an older fan and knowing what they were like beforehand, it just to me feels a little bit different. Like, if I didn't know how they sounded before this, and I'll go back and listen to Deceiver, I'll go back and listen to Life Cycles, I'll go back and listen to Real, but there's just something about this band that I feel like is a little bit lost, but I think there's still something that's there, and I think it's still holding strong, and it's most definitely Telly. I think he really is the backbone of the band, and you can really tell in an album like this where I feel like he's pulling a lot of the weight. So my overall rating for the We're Alive's Monomania, I'm going to be giving it an 8.7 out of 10. I think there's a lot of good songs. I would say more so on the latter half of this record. I would say probably from 9 to 12 are just really well executed, really well written songs, and I think with a little bit more tailoring, I think they'll get it right. Like, I have a good feeling that if they continue with this real emotional vibe, and they kind of balance it out with some heavier tracks and maybe some more like softer, more melodic based tracks, they'll find that good fitting, and they'll still be a great band. So let me know in the comments what you think about this record. If you agree with me, if you disagree, I'd love to know your opinion on it. I think this is going to be a divisive record for the Word Alive fans, but I don't think that my review should stop you from listening to it. Or if you like it, that's good for you. Like, that's awesome for you. I've always appreciated listening to different types of music, and I feel like this band has been a part of a good portion of my life now, and so I wanted to just say, like, this might not be my cup of tea, but I hope that somebody that watches this review and honestly gives it a chance will enjoy the record as well. So thank you guys for watching this. If you liked it, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. It goes a long way. Thank you guys for the massive support. Thank you to Adam Splitter for sending it over, and we'll be having more content for you guys soon. Got some really cool stuff, and hopefully you'll stick around to check it all out. So my name is Brandon. We hope you got your fix, and we'll be talking with you soon. Peace. Hey guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Of course, if you enjoy what we do, make sure to go check out the other series we do. We do album reviews, we do band interviews, and we do live videos, so definitely go check that out. Hit that subscribe button. It really helps our channel, helps us grow. Make sure to hit that like button as well. Go follow us on social media. That's all down below. We try to keep that as updated as possible. We also made a new website where we'll be posting photos of upcoming concerts and stuff like that, which you can go check out at audioaddictionmedia.com, and come get your fix with us, guys. Talk to you later. Deuces.